Welcome back to Women in Leadership. My name is Reagan Jackson, and I'm the Program Director for Young Women Empowered, otherwise known as YWE. And we are a nonprofit based in Seattle, Washington. Our mission is to cultivate the power of diverse young women to be creative leaders and courageous change makers. As we all know, COVID-19 has been an unprecedented challenge. And so the purpose of this series is to highlight some women in the community who are showing up and showing us what leadership can look like in the face of adversity. So here with me today, I have Kat Vellos, who was a YWE teaching artist. Kat is a user experience designer, speaker, and facilitator with a passion for helping people connect authentically. She was, excuse me, she has researched, designed, and advised on the user experience of countless flows and digital products, serving millions of people at companies like Slack and Pandora, and created a community for hundreds more as a facilitator. Her debut book is called We Should Get Together. She's turned her expertise in user research and experience design towards helping people live healthier lives through the cultivation of deeper, more fulfilling friendships. Welcome, Kat.
Hi, Reagan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Wow, first of all, your book sounds really cool and also really on time. I think everybody is kind of wondering, how do we maintain and cultivate our friendships and relationships during COVID-19?
Yeah, it's definitely something that is very top of mind for a lot of people because being forced into isolation, it shows how much we really mean to each other and how much it means to be able to see a friend face to face. Obviously, we can't do that right now. My first book, We Should Get Together, really all focuses on that cultivation of thriving connections face to face. A lot of the research that went into that book was about what goes into making a healthy friendship and what are the things that typically get in the way for people when they're trying to establish those. And some of, I would say a great deal of the content can be applied from afar as well, particularly if someone is just interested in becoming a more thoughtful and showing up as a really, really good friend in their friends' lives and also asking for what they need from their friends whenever there's an issue of conflict or imbalance in a relationship. And since the time of COVID-19 and us being at home, I also wrote an addendum to it, which is my second book called Connected from Afar, which is all about nurturing your friendships from a distance when you can't see each other face to face. So what are the things that you can do to create more intimacy, more trust, more vulnerability and connection, gratitude and appreciation for each other, and all the different things that help you bond with a friend and will give you a break from only talking about coronavirus, because I'm sure that also gets very tiring.
Yeah. Well, what's one thing that you would recommend for our young people, particularly?
So one thing that's really important right now is to pay attention to what your needs are for connection and not to assume that just because you're in the house, that means you have to be on a video call 24/7. That's extremely exhausting for me. I really am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And so to me, quality matters more than quantity. And so that goes for number of friends as well as number of interactions. And so I would say to first check in with yourself to see what feels like the right balance of social interaction to you. Just because there's an ongoing fire hose of connection online right now doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to help you feel the most balanced. So make sure to make time for yourself, make time to rest, make time to unplug so that you can feel, not just like you're constantly on. And of course, knowing that we do have phone calls or video calls or ways to keep in touch, and then to focus on connecting with people whose interactions with you feel really healthy and fulfilling. This is a really important time to take care of your emotional health and physical health equally. So,
Well, words of wisdom. How do you feel like COVID-19 has impacted you personally and professionally?
well, it certainly impacted me. Well, thankfully, personally, it hasn't impacted me very much aside from being home. I'm very grateful to have my health, and that's the most important thing right now. Professionally, it certainly affected some of my plans for early this year. I launched my first book, We Should Get Together, in January, and I had a whole book tour, and a whole bunch of workshops and events I was planning on doing. I was actually going to be traveling up to Seattle, doing some events and readings up there. Of course, travel is not happening right now. All of that is canceled or postponed, as well as workshops and things I was planning to do here in the Bay. I'm all about face-to-face connection. I find it a million times more gratifying than virtual, but I'll take what I can get. And I look forward to a time when I can do those things again. And it's also impacted me in terms of forcing me to be more creative. You know, the Connected from Afar addendum to the book, which can be done as a standalone by itself without having read the first one, it wasn't something that I knew I was going to write at the beginning, you know, but immediately the need was there. And my community was saying, Kat, like, how do we keep in touch from a distance? How can we nurture our friendships when we can't get together? And I was like completely feeling that in my own life, 100%. So I put together, it's really 6 months of weekly connection prompts that you can use with a friend from a distance. And so it's helped me to feel more grounded in this space of like creativity and still being of service to the community by offering more resources.
Love it.
And 50% of the proceeds from this book in April are being donated to the COVID response. So if anyone's thinking of checking it out, know that you'll also be supporting health workers and essential workers at the same
Find
time.
your book?
Yeah.
Where can they find your book?
Oh, it's available anywhere you buy books. So if you want the paperback of Connected from Afar, you can get it from you can order from a local bookstore or Amazon if that's your thing. The ebook is also available at my website or on Kindle. My website is weshouldgettogether.com. And so, yeah, you can get either the ebook or the paperback of those, and those will be supporting COVID. And then the We Should Get Together is available just like the other. I recommend getting that one from bookshop.org, which is donating part of their proceeds to the COVID response as well. I'm sorry, to independent bookstores who are being hit really hard right now. So I always recommend supporting indies where you can.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, do you self-identify as a leader?
I do. And I think everybody has the potential to be a leader and to step up and be of service and to give your talents and abilities towards supporting the community, supporting others, and being a bright light for other people to learn from or be inspired by with the way you live your life or the way that you contribute to the world.
How do you feel like your leadership style has been impacted by the circumstances, and what are you doing to be a leader in your community right now?
Well, one way that it impacted me was that, you know, because I'm already such a huge fan of face-to-face connection, it was a big shift for me to adjust to doing events virtually. One of the very first things I did was I held a support huddle for other facilitators and speakers. And I hadn't done an online Zoom with 100 people before, but I just offered it as like a free way for facilitators and speakers to come together, to share what their challenges were and to get inspiration for how to move forward. And that pushed me to be like, wow, I'm going to confront like something that feels like out of my comfort zone. I'm going to host an online Zoom and like 100 people registered. And I was like, wow, that's something I've never done before. And so in that way, it's getting me out of my comfort zone. It's getting me to think more creatively. I've also done a couple of other webinars similar to that, and I'm doing one this weekend. And then next month, I'm going to be hosting a full month-long support group circle for folks who want to get a better handle on balancing their self-care with their connection, outward connection.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for doing the series.
Awesome.